Welcome to the FinMonk YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about James Clear's Atomic Habits. This channel is all about living a rich and productive life. Today we're going to be discussing a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book was published in 2018. It has been the #1 book on business since 2020. So that's right, like literally since the pandemic. The reason why we're talking about this book today is because it changed my life. I was the laziest person you will ever meet in your life. I loved being lazy. I was able to utilize the things in this book to make it easier for myself to change my habits into good habits. If you read somebody who struggles with creating good habits and maintaining them, or you read trying to break a bad habit, this video is for you. This book had a lot of valuable information, so I'm going to talk about the things that stood out to me. The first part that really stood out to me was the 1% rule. In this book, James Clear shares this idea that tiny, consistent actions, just 1% improvement every day, can completely change your life. Now I know that sounds super cliche and super corny, but hear me out. So let's say you improve just 1% every day for a year. At the end of the year, you'll be 37 times better. But if you get 1% worse, you'll practically hit zero. So the difference between 1% and -1% is a big deal. That's the power of compounding, but applied to habits. Now, when you're breaking down a goal into smaller steps to achieve that goal, you do only need to go from 0 to 100. You just need to go from 0 to 1. So if your goal is to become a millionaire, you're never going to get there if you sit there and think, okay, I need to make $1 million. I need to get rich. Instead, you should say, okay, what is the tiniest step I can take towards that goal? And maybe the answer is just open up a new bank account that is specifically for saving money and put $5 in it. Just put $5 in it. It's hard to stop putting $5 in your new millionaire account every week. Then after you do that for a few months, you might increase it to $10. Then it becomes easier to save more and more because it becomes a habit. The key to success is to repeat this process until you eventually get to where you want to be. Next thing that really stood out to me was that it's not about motivation, it's about systems. So often we hear, motivational quotes, or we listen to motivational podcasts, we watch motivational videos, we go to events and all these different things. And we get motivated for a little bit, but that motivation does not last very long. A lot of us struggle with maintaining our habits and sticking to the plan, and that's where systems come in. So often we think of ourselves as this fixed entity, like we're this one person and we're stuck like this. But really, we're constantly changing and evolving. We're always building and adding to the system. So instead of thinking of yourself as this fixed entity, think of yourself as this constantly evolving system. So the question is, what kind of system are you building? Are you building a system that leads you to success? Or are you building a system that leads you to failure? That's really what this is all about. You also don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Quote, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Now you may be asking yourself, okay, great. How do I set up systems for myself? I don't know where to begin. Well, James Clear talks about something called the 2-minute rule. He says if it takes less than 2 minutes, do it now. This is a great way to start building habits. When you're setting up systems for yourself, you need to set up boundaries and protect your time. So many of us spend our days doing whatever comes up. That's a problem because it makes it hard to build good habits and stick to them. Our brains resist dramatic change. That's why the 1% rule works. Your brain barely notices the effort, so you're more likely to stay consistent. So the best way to get started is to start with something that takes only a few seconds. The next thing that really stood out to me was the chapter titled Don't Break the Chain. I didn't know how to articulate it, but this book helped me justify my laziness in a sense. There's this quote in the book, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure." It's not that you don't have enough time. It's that you're spending time on the wrong things. I remember sitting there reading that and being like, yes, that is exactly what I do. We live in a world where hustle culture is glorified. We're told to grind and hustle and put in the work, especially if you're an entrepreneur. I remember spending so much time hustling and grinding. And yes, I did achieve some success. But the thing is that I wasn't happy. I wasn't enjoying the success because I was working so hard to get there. I thought that this is just something I needed to do to achieve my goals. But now looking back, I realized that I was wasting time doing the wrong things. I was focusing on the wrong priorities. I was listening to everybody else and not listening to myself. I was afraid of being inadequate, of not doing enough. But the truth is that I was already doing plenty. I just needed to focus on the right things. We're all busy. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. It's not about finding more time. It's about spending the time we have in the right way. Focus on what matters. Do what's important. It's not about doing more. It's about doing the right things. You do and need to go from 0 to 100. You just need to go from 0 to 1. A lot of us get caught up in the what ifs. What if it doesn't work? What if I fail? But the truth is that we're never going to know unless we try. And guess what? If it doesn't work, that's okay. We just adjust and we try again. If that doesn't work, we just adjust and we try again. We keep doing that until we succeed. So the truth is that nobody succeeds on their first try. Everybody fails a bunch of times before they succeed. We're all human. We all make mistakes. But the most important thing is to learn from those mistakes and keep moving forward. So if you're feeling stuck or you're not seeing the progress that you want to be making, don't quit. Keep going. Adjust your systems and keep moving forward. This book is a great resource if you're looking for help with creating good habits or breaking bad ones. I highly recommend it. 1% compounded over the course of a year ends up being 37 times greater. 1% less than 1, it starts to approach 0. So you want to make sure that you're consistently getting 1% better every single day. When you do that, you will see a huge difference in your life. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that thumbs up button, and I will see you guys in the next one.